PS 24. 1. 50. 10-12. In Israel. When Jehovah brought Israel into Canaan, he exercised his right as Lord and owner of the whole earth to dispossess the Canaanites, who were, in effect, squatters on the land. Jos 3. 11. 1 Co 10. 26. The period of God's tolerating their holding the land had run out. Although more than 450 years previously God had promised the land to Abraham's seed, he had told Abraham. The era of the Amorites, a term sometimes used for all the Canaanite tribes, has not yet come to completion. G 15. 7, 8, 12-16. Therefore, as the Christian martyr Stephen told the Jews, God did not give Abraham any inheritable possession in it, no, not a footbreadth. But he promised to give it to him as a possession, and after him to his seed, while as yet he has no child. Acts 7. 5. Israel was not to fight wars of aggression, continuing to expand its territory by taking the property of surrounding nations. Jehovah warned Israel that they must respect the property rights of certain nations to whom he had assigned land. These nations were Edom, Moab, and Ammon, related to the Israelites through Esau, Edom, and Lot, Moab, and Ammon. 2. 4, 5, 9, 19. Promised land held in trust. Even the people Israel, to whom God had given the land for them to enjoy as landowners, were told by Jehovah that they were not actually owners of it but only held it in trust. He said concerning the sale of a family land estate, "So the land should not be sold in perpetuity, because the land is mine. For you are alien residents and settlers from my standpoint." 25. 23. God had ousted the Canaanites from the land for their disgusting practices. He warned he would also take away all title from Israel and drive them out of the land if they followed such practices, and when they later did, they were sent into exile. 18. 24-30. 25. 18, 19. 26. 27-33. Jah 52. 27. After 70 years of desolation of their land, from 607 to 537 BCE, God mercifully re-established them, but this time under Gentile domination. Eventually, in 70 CE, the Romans completely destroyed Jerusalem and scattered its people. Within the nation, tribes were assigned sections of the land or cities inside the boundaries of other tribes. Priests and Levites had cities with pasture grounds. Jos 15-21. In turn, within the tribes, families were allotted inheritances. These divisions became smaller as families subdivided their own allotments, because of increase in numbers. This resulted in thorough cultivation and use of the land. Inheritances were not allowed to circulate from one tribe to another. To prevent this, women who inherited land, because there were no living brothers, had to marry within the tribe to hold their inheritance. New 36. 1-12. If a man died without having a son, his brother, or, if no brothers, his nearest of kin, could marry his widow to bring forth offspring from her. The man marrying the widow could also repurchase the dead man's inheritance, if it had been sold. Rue 4. 9, 10, 13-17. A woman's otex to a acute muritra longo, landowner 200 in Israel. This was illustrated in the refusal of Naboth to sell a field of his inheritance to King Ahab. 1 Kai 21. 1-4, 17-19. Compares 46. 18. The Levites. As a protection to the Levites, their fields could not be sold. It was because Levites had no individual land inheritance. They had been given only houses in the Levite cities and the pasture grounds surrounding them. If a Levite sold his house in a Levite city, the right of repurchase continued for him, and in the Jubilee, at the latest, it was returned to him. 25. 32-34. As the productive land yielded fruitage, the great proprietor of all the land was not to be left out of the picture. By means of the tithing arrangement, a tenth of the produce was to be used to support the Levites in their important functions related to Jehovah's worship, thus spiritually benefiting all Israel. New 18. 21-24. 14. 22-29. The sanctuary. The sanctuary of Jehovah could also become a landholder by reason of fields sanctified to Jehovah. That is, the produce of these fields went to the sanctuary for a period of time designated by the owner or possessor. Law 27. 16-19 If a field that was sanctified by the owner was not repurchased, but was sold to another man, that field would become the permanent possession of the sanctuary at the time of the Jubilee. Law 27. 21 Also, fields devoted to the sanctuary by their owners remained the permanent possession of the sanctuary. Law 27. 28. In the Christian congregation, the Bible makes it clear that individual property rights were recognized in the Christian congregation. When the congregation was established, on Pentecost Day, 33 CE, many Jews and proselytes of the Jewish religion from other lands had gathered at Jerusalem to observe the festival. A large number of these were present to hear Peter's discourse and began to be believers in Christ. Act 2.